Welcome back to Mighty Habits, where we like to take these deep dives into all sorts of different topics. Today it's going to be crypto assets
Oh, yeah.
and going beyond the hype, really trying to understand what they are and why they matter
Right.
and, how they could potentially change the way we live and work.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's a fascinating area.
yeah, so before we even get into the weeds, I think we just got to, start with the basics.
Yeah, what are they?
What are they?
I think what's really captivating about crypto assets is they represent like a fundamental shift in how we think about value and ownership and trust.
Okay, color me intrigued, but help me break it down. For someone who's hearing about this for the first time, what are crypto assets?
Crypto assets are digital assets. They're secured using cryptography, which is a fancy way of saying complex math to keep them safe and to prevent tampering. But the real game changer is they operate on decentralized networks like blockchain.
Ugh. Yes, blockchain. The word on everyone's lips.
Eh,
But still kind of like a sci-fi movie to me. I'm picturing glowing grids
yeah,
and digital chains floating in cyberspace.
I love that.
So help us out here.
Yeah.
What is blockchain in a way that even I can understand?
Think of it like a digital ledger. It's a massive shared spreadsheet
Okay.
that records every transaction and is accessible to everyone. But instead of this spreadsheet being in one central location, it's distributed across a network of computers,
Yeah.
which makes it super secure and tamper-proof.
So no single person controls it.
Exactly.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why people are so excited about this.
It's the decentralization that makes blockchain so revolutionary, and it eliminates the need for banks or governments, giving individuals more control over their assets.
That's fascinating. It sounds like something that could really level the playing field, give individuals and small businesses way more power. But I have to admit, I'm still wrapping my head around all this. Where does a newbie even begin to learn about this stuff?
There's a great book, Cryptoassets, The Innovative Investor's Guide to Bitcoin and Beyond, by Burniske and Tatar.
Wait a minute. Is this whole crypto thing just about Bitcoin? I was under the impression that there's a whole universe of these digital assets out there.
You're right, and that's one of the key takeaways from that book. It emphasizes that the crypto world is so much more than just Bitcoin. It's like focusing on one type of tree in this vast, diverse forest.
Okay, now we're talking. I'm starting to get a sense of how expansive and transformative this whole world could be.
Yeah.
Let's unpack that a little bit. What are some of those other examples of crypto assets? I'm sure our listeners are itching to hear some specific names.
Sure. So you've got Ethereum, which is known for its smart contracts.
Yeah.
Then there's Ripple,
Okay.
which is focused on facilitating faster and cheaper international payments. And then there's stablecoins, which aim to minimize price volatility by pegging their value to assets like the US dollar.
See, this is what I love about these deep dives. We're going beyond just the buzzwords, getting into the nitty-gritty of what makes this space so fascinating.
And that's just scratching the surface. There are literally thousands of crypto assets out there, each with their own unique properties and applications. Yeah, it really is.
It's like this buffet
It is.
of digital innovation, where every crypto asset's offering a different flavor.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we were to sample from that buffet, what are some real-world examples of how these different crypto assets could actually impact our everyday lives?
So imagine a musician who uses blockchain technology to release their music directly to fans, cutting out the record labels and keeping a larger share of the profits. Or think about a small business owner in a developing country
Okay.
who uses crypto to access international markets, bypassing those traditional financial institutions that might be too expensive or inaccessible.
Those are some pretty compelling examples. It sounds like crypto assets could really level the playing field, empower individuals and small businesses
Yeah,
in a way we haven't seen before.
absolutely. That's one of the most exciting aspects of this whole technology. It's this potential to disrupt industries, empower individuals, and create these entirely new models for collaboration and value creation.
Okay. I'm officially on board the crypto train. But let's get real for a second here.
Yeah,
I've also heard some pretty scary things about crypto assets,
of course.
like scams, volatility, environmental concerns. Is that legitimate or is that just FUD? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah, no, those are all definitely legitimate concerns. I mean, the crypto space is still really young. Like any emerging technology, it has its share of risks. Scams and fraudulent projects unfortunately exist, so it's important to do your research and invest wisely.
So not all crypto projects are created equal.
Exactly.
It's not just like throwing darts at a board,
No.
hoping for the best.
It's essential to be discerning. and not just jump on the bandwagon of every trendy new coin.
Okay, that's a good reminder for our listeners. We always encourage critical thinking,
Yeah.
doing your due diligence
Yeah.
before making any investment decisions. What about this volatility issue? I've heard stories of people making a fortune overnight, only to lose it all just as quickly.
Right.
Is that just like the nature of the beast? Or is there a way to kind of navigate that risk?
So volatility is inherent to the crypto market, at least for now. It's driven by this really complex interplay of factors, like market sentiment,
Okay.
regulatory developments, even social media trends. For long-term investors, that volatility can present opportunities, but it also requires a strong stomach and a well-defined risk tolerance.
So it's not for the faint of heart. You need to be prepared for a bit of a roller coaster ride.
That's one way to put it, but remember, high volatility can also mean high potential returns. It's all about finding that right balance between risk and reward.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about these environmental concerns I mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Some people argue that crypto mining, the process of verifying transactions and creating these new coins,
Yeah.
consumes a massive amount of energy. Is that something we should be worried about?
It's a valid concern, and it's something the industry is actively working to address. So some cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin,
Okay.
require a lot of energy for mining because of their reliance on what we call a proof-of-work consensus mechanism. But there are more energy-efficient alternatives, like proof-of-stake blockchains, which consume significantly less power.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Exactly.
There's nuance and variety within the crypto world when it comes to environmental impact.
Precisely, the crypto landscape is incredibly diverse, and there are projects out there working on innovative solutions to really minimize that environmental impact. It's essential to look beyond the headlines and understand the nuances.
Okay, that's a great point. I'm realizing this crypto world is a lot more complex and multifaceted than it might appear at first glance.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting rich quick. It's about exploring these new technologies, challenging traditional systems, even addressing global issues like sustainability.
You're hitting the nail on the head. It's about recognizing the potential of this technology to create positive change while also acknowledging those risks and the challenges involved.
This deep dive has been eye-opening so far. I'm feeling a lot more informed.
Yeah.
But I also have a ton more questions swirling around my head.
That's a good sign. Curiosity is key in this space. There's always something new to learn and explore.
Speaking of exploring, I'm wondering if we could shift gears for a moment and delve into this world of decentralized finance, or DeFi, as the cool kids call it.
I like it.
I keep hearing that DeFi is going to revolutionize the financial industry, but I'm not entirely sure what it actually is.
Right.
Can you give us a crash course?
DeFi is essentially an umbrella term for financial applications,
Yeah.
built on blockchain technology. The goal is to create a more open, transparent, and accessible financial system that doesn't rely on those traditional intermediaries, like banks.
Okay, that sounds pretty radical.
Yeah.
What are some examples of those DeFi applications? How is this actually playing out in the real world?
So think about lending and borrowing platforms, where you can earn interest on your crypto
Okay.
or take out loans without going through a bank. Or imagine decentralized exchanges, where you can trade cryptocurrencies directly with other users without the need for that centralized intermediary.
So it's like cutting out the middleman in finance.
That's the general idea. DeFi aims to empower individuals by giving them more control over their finances and enabling them to participate in financial activities that were previously only accessible to institutions.
So while decentralized finance sounds promising, aren't there concerns about, like, security and regulation in a system without those intermediaries?
Yeah.
I mean, who do you turn to if something goes wrong?
Those are really valid concerns, and those are definitely topics of ongoing debate. Within the DeFi community, security is paramount in any financial system, and DeFi platforms are constantly working to improve their security measures.
So it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. DeFi is still in its early stages of development. There are definitely challenges to be addressed, but the potential for innovation and disruption is immense.
Okay, I'm starting to see how DeFi could potentially shake things up in the financial world.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West of finance,
Yeah.
with pioneers and risk takers forging those new paths.
But what about this regulatory landscape governments around the world seem to be grappling with? How to approach this new technology?
Right.
What are some of those key regulatory challenges, and how might they impact the future of crypto and DeFi?
That's a great question, and it's a topic that deserves its own deep dive. But in a nutshell, governments are really trying to strike this delicate balance. Between fostering innovation and protecting consumers and investors, some countries are taking a more hands-off approach, while others are implementing stricter regulations. The key concerns revolve around things like
Right.
preventing money laundering, combating fraud,
Yeah.
and ensuring market stability.
That sounds like a tough balancing act. Too much regulation could stifle innovation, but too little could create chaos and risk.
It's a complex issue and there's no easy answer. One major development to watch is the progress of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs.
CBDCs, those are government-backed digital currencies, right?
Exactly. They're essentially digital versions of fiat currencies, like the US dollar or the euro. They're backed by central banks,
Okay.
and they aim to offer the benefits of digital currencies while still being controlled by those monetary authorities.
So it's like a government-backed stablecoin.
You could think of it that way. The potential implications of CBDCs are vast. They could increase financial inclusion, reduce transaction costs, and even reshape the global financial system. But they also raise concerns about privacy and government control.
Well, it sounds like CBDCs could be a real game changer. This is definitely something we'll need to keep an eye on. What are some other regulatory trends worth watching?
Another area of focus is anti-money laundering and know your customer or KYC regulations. Governments are increasingly requiring crypto exchanges and other service providers to implement measures to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing.
That makes sense. Crypto's anonymity has been both a blessing and a curse. It allows for privacy, but it can also be exploited for illicit activity. So it sounds like we're seeing this global push towards greater transparency and accountability in the crypto space.
Absolutely. Regulators are working to ensure that crypto transactions are traceable and that bad actors are held accountable.
This all points to a maturing industry, which is exciting. But with all this talk about regulation and potential risks, I'm curious about your overall outlook on the future of crypto assets. Are you optimistic, cautious, or somewhere in between?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I believe crypto assets have the potential to revolutionize many aspects of our lives, but it's important to approach this space with a realistic perspective. There will be challenges, volatility, and setbacks along the way. But for those who are willing to do their research, stay informed, and navigate the risks, the potential rewards could be significant.
That's a balanced and insightful perspective. It sounds like you're saying that crypto assets are not a get-rich-quick scheme, but rather this long-term game. That requires patience, knowledge, and a healthy dose of caution.
It's about understanding the transformative power of this technology while also being aware of its limitations and potential pitfalls. It's a journey, not a destination.
Well said. This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this vast and complex world.
And that's the beauty of it. There's always more to learn and discover in the crypto space. It's a constantly evolving landscape that keeps you on your toes.
Speaking of learning and discovery, I want to remind our listeners about that book we mentioned earlier, Cryptoassets, The Innovative Investor's Guide to Bitcoin and Beyond,
Yes.
by Burniske and Jack Tatar. If you're feeling inspired to dive deeper, this book is an excellent place to start.
I wholeheartedly agree. It provides such a comprehensive overview of the crypto landscape, from the fundamentals of blockchain technology to the nuances of those different crypto assets and their potential applications.
And it emphasizes that it's not just about Bitcoin.
Right.
There's a whole universe of digital assets out there
Yeah.
waiting to be explored.
Exactly. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting to dip your toes into those crypto waters, this book offers valuable insights and practical guidance.
Well, this has been a truly mind-expanding deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from
We did.
the intricacies of blockchain technology to the potential impact of crypto assets on industries, individuals, and even global systems. We've explored the risks and the challenges, as well as the exciting opportunities that lie ahead. If you're feeling ready to take that plunge into this fascinating new world, we encourage you to check out Cryptoassets, The Innovative Investor's Guide to Bitcoin and Beyond, by Burniske and Jack Tatar. It's a great starting point.
It is.
For anyone who wants to learn more.
Yeah, it's written in a way that's accessible, even if you're not a tech expert.
I always appreciate resources that don't assume you have a PhD in computer science.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what does it all mean for our listeners? Crypto assets are still evolving, but they have the potential to disrupt industries and empower individuals in ways we're only beginning to grasp.
It's a powerful reminder that we are living in a time of incredible technological advancement, and it's really up to each of us to decide how we want to engage with these innovations. The key is to approach these advancements with a discerning eye, a willingness to learn, and a healthy dose of curiosity.
Well said. This deep dive has been a whirlwind of information and insights. I'm walking away feeling both incredibly excited about the possibilities and a little bit overwhelmed by the sheer scope of it all. It's clear that crypto assets are more than just a passing trend. They represent a fundamental shift in how we think about value, ownership, and the systems that shape our world.
And the most exciting part is we're still in the early stages. Who knows what the future holds?
That's pretty wild.
That's the beauty of this space. It's constantly evolving, pushing boundaries, challenging us to rethink what's possible.
A huge thank you to you for guiding us through this complex and fascinating topic. Your expertise has been truly invaluable.
The pleasure was all mine. I'm always thrilled to share my passion for this exciting and ever-evolving field.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of crypto assets. If this episode sparked your curiosity and you're ready to learn more, don't forget to check out Cryptoassets, the Innovative Investor's Guide to Bitcoin and Beyond by Burniske and Tatar. It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to explore this space further. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Mighty Habits podcast for more deep dives into fascinating topics that will expand your mind and empower you to live a more informed and fulfilling life. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop exploring.